What's happening? That's kind of weird.
Radically different than it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I was here when they were building it.
Riley's answer. His answer.
Watch it build this thing. Maybe the Olympics, the ball games. Well, this right now.
Thank you.
Hey, Nick, you can have after this.
Oh yeah, that looks real nice, real nice.
God, I'm so fucking glad.
All around athlete here.
Oh, it's great looking. Looks great.